right, of fabulous Wednesday to you. Thank you for joining. My name is Rose Blossom Mwe, and of course, this is Women's Corner. Here we discuss everything that has to do with women, empowering women, supporting women, while we discuss real life issues and share experiences for other young ladies and other people to actually learn from it. So we have a guest today. We have an in-house guest and of course a Zoom guest that will be joining us today. But before I introduce my guest, the topic we're having today is professional relationship and communication. A lot of times in an office space, or maybe not an office space, a career space, we tend to have this relationship issues and how to communicate with ourselves as women, and also when it comes to a man, setting boundaries and all of that is still part of the communication and relationship building professionally, actually. So, but anyways, before we actually go into details, I want you to know that you can actually watch us live from our social media pages on Facebook and on Twitter. You can watch us live, and yes, you can download our app from Google Play Store or Apple Play Store. Remember, if you are a woman, you want to share your story, you're a young lady, you want to share your story, you want to be empowered, you can reach us on our social media pages, and we'll be so glad to welcome you to the studio, or you can join us via Zoom. So let's go for that short break so I can quickly introduce my guest, then we'll start talking, because I'm so interested about this topic. A lot of women have gone through hell in their office place during their career, even having maybe studying, schooling and all of that, just because they are a woman. So let's go for the short break, and when we come back, I'll introduce the guest. Right, welcome back. We have our in-house guest. I'm going to start with Fidelia Emmanuel. Always coming early. I love early comers, and I love people that, you know, they'll just tell me, I will just call like, where are you? Be like, oh, I'm very close. I'm like, oh, yes, I love that. Thank you so much for gracing us again today, Fidelia. Thank you. And Fidelia Emmanuel is an educationist. She's a girl child advocate, and of course she owns a school. So when I saw the topic, I'm like, she'll be the best person to actually talk about this and know how much she handles the situations that surround communication and professional relationships. Also on our Zoom, we have Adekunle Seun. Adekunle Seun is a gospel artist. She's an entrepreneur. She's a writer and a producer. Also, she is an author. Can we have Adekunle Seun on the screen, please? Adekunle Seun, how are you doing? Look, start. Okay, yes, we have her. Adekunle, how are you doing? Thank you so much for joining in. And also we have Ajebowale Khadija Lawrence. She's a public servant, an event planner, and a decorator. Can we have Khadija on the screen, please, so she could say hi to us? Is Khadija with us? Okay, hopefully shortly she will join. I saw her earlier on, so maybe they're trying to set some things right. Okay, yes, we're talking about professional relationships and communication. First, I'm going to first ask you, Fidelia, what comes to mind when you hear professional relationships? Because I'm trying to clarify, because a lot of people, even when I say this word I'm discussing, they'll be like, I don't understand. Can you enlighten me what it means? But it's as simple as it is. We have relationship, romantic relationship, casual relationships, and all of that. So what is a professional relationship?
Thanks for having me one more time.
You're welcome.
To me, a professional relationship has to do with mutual respect, building trust, and openness to communication. And so far, I've been able to achieve this by being very accessible, especially by my member of staff, being supportive, being empathetic. Like for instance, looking at the school angle, coming from a school owner, I try as much as possible to get involved with the lives of my staff. I make it a point of duty to sit with them weekly. We talk about what they are going through, their progress, and I try as much as I could to give them a supportive, and the support might not be financial support, yes. Sometimes what they need is a moral support, and I try as much as possible to give them
that support. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to ask Seun now. She said what professional relationship means to her. I want to come from the angle of, you know, like she said, she gives support and all of that. But I think there are some situations, or let's just say there are some situations whereby you see where the bosses or the staff is trying to be there professionally for colleagues or maybe your employee or the employer, however it comes. But still, it's as though there's still, there's always this misunderstanding sometimes, especially when you're a woman and probably the next person is a man. There's this problem, you know, when you're too close or they find out that you're always supportive or you're always advising, even the other person, the other gender could actually start feeling, oh, she likes me, she's so connected to me, she always wants to be around me. Now, you are making it professional, but the other person is not getting it. So how do women handle such situations that their professional relationships, based on the communication, the kind of communication they give to the person, it does not exceed into something or pass the wrong message to the other gender?
Okay, well, I think one of the things that we should understand first about communication is there are different kinds of communication. There are the verbal, the non-verbal, you know, the visual and all of that. So I think when it has to do with the opposite sex, I think meaning like a man. So I think what you should do as a woman should make sure that whatever you're passing across is in clear terms, right? There's a level of closeness that you're expected to have with your colleagues generally. By the way, there's a professional relationship with your boss. There's the one with your co-workers on a general level. There's the one with your team members, and there's the other with your side producing, making products or these services. Right? So whatever you are doing should not be a form of over family in such a way that the other person is misunderstanding. Because there are some things that you could pass across as non-verbal, maybe like a written form. You don't necessarily have to be hanging out after work or during lunch and all of that. So when you are extending work topics or work discussions, like after work, lunch, then it's just natural that the other person understands you for what exactly you're trying to pass across to them. I take on that.
Okay, thank you. So because of what you just said, minding how you share your time, minding how you talk to the person, minding how much time you actually spend with this person, so that even if the person does not get the wrong message, people around you, your colleagues, will not actually get the wrong message. So what actually happens? What do you think a woman should do when people get the wrong message, or the gender, or obviously it's definitely going to be the other gender, start getting a wrong message of how much you communicate, in sense of when you're communicating with a person professionally? Is it right to discuss your family issues, your financial issues, your let's say something that I feel is very personal? Do you think it's right for when you are having a professional relationship, you should discuss that?
Well, like I said, you know, what kind of professional relationship has to do with co-workers now or your team members? There's a possibility that your relationship is professional to personal. Because some people probably joined the organization as a result of the fact you already know yourselves outside the organization before the person was employed. So there's a way you're going to relate with yourself compared to somebody that you met at the organization. Then some other people, because of the way you relate to yourself, how the person is checking on you, care about you and all, there could be some kind of bonding, right, that could come up. However, if you don't want other people around you to get wrong information about how you relate with people, there are, like I said, there are different ways you can communicate. There's the written form of communication. There are some stuff that should actually be formal, like passing a book or no, writing, sending a mail in order to get the message across. And there are some that if are going to be verbal, you know, it's something that you should make sure be at the time that people are around. You know, there are some kind of work that they claim they work late, the private sector, you know, just you and the opposite sex around the time. It's just natural for people to go to it and that. But if it be like a teamwork and all together, nobody's going to do anything special. And maybe after that, you have to official discussion out of the office, like you have lunch and people see you hanging out at restaurants and all that. people are not likely to understand that to be an official meeting. Or like you said, you're going to meet at a particular hotel. Even though it's official, everybody around you are not likely to assume it to be official. So it's just normal that you make it strictly official and professional in the office space. And when it comes to your personal discussion, I don't think that should be what you should discuss with. That's a particular level of closeness that you have outside office, which is understandable. That I take on that.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, you said something. I have to put in Nollywood movies again. I want to ask now, why is it that in Nollywood movies, when the boss wants to have a meeting, okay, I want to put it in real life, the boss wants to have a meeting with a lady. And to be honest, they might not even have anything. But you see that they have to meet the boss in the hotel, or they are going for a trip, they have to be in the same hotel, you know, and the personal assistant, of course, she's a pretty lady, she's elegant, and she's brainy, and normal, every boss will want to have such a person when going out. In that situation, let me ask you, Fidelia, in that situation, what do you think the woman should do? Is it necessary, even the bosses now, so that we can talk to the bosses too? Why are they always having meetings at hotels? Are there no comfortable places so that people don't get the wrong idea? What's your take on all these whole dramatic conversations?
Yeah, I think as regards that, the woman needs to take a stand. She needs to be clear and concise in whatever communication is in between the said lady and the boss. You need to be clear, and that's where the issue of trust and credibility sets in. You should know what you stand for. Everybody should know what such a person stands for, and you make it clear. Even from the time you're coming in, maybe from the point of interview, you make your standards clear and concise to the organization.
Okay, I like that one, clear and standard. But there's another issue I have with that, because if they are clear, they are on the same page, there's nothing going on with them. What do you think a woman should do? And yes, I know you probably don't even have a choice, because you love your job and you want to keep your job, and your boss keep insisting, come to the hotel. Yes, he might have an ulterior motive, or it might not even have an ulterior motive, you understand? So, but what would a woman do at that point? Because you can't say no to your boss. Do you understand? What's your take? What advice will you give to such a woman in fact, I'll call it a dilemma, because you can't quit your job because they said you should come to your hotel, and obviously there's nothing going on with your boss. What would you say about that?
Hotel does not necessarily mean you should be locked in a room.
In the room, okay,
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so even when you're meeting in a hotel, it should still be somewhere open, where like 2-3 people are still there with you. So when it's getting to something that you have to be in a closed door with the boss,
okay. That's when there's a problem.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, great. So I'm going to ask Asheun. This part is just what causes issues when it comes to professional relationship. I've seen a lot of times, and now I'm coming to the women. We've just a bit about the men. We'll still go back there. You see that sometimes you see 2 ladies or 2 women, they are very close. They talk about everything. They probably know their houses, or know their husbands, their kids together. Then the day something will happen, and we know what women can do. That is where you will hear the secrets of the things you probably don't even want to ever hear. You start hearing this one is saying this one, so is saying this one, and some people go as far as being physical in the office, which is totally wrong. Now, what do you think women should do when you're having a professional relationship? I'm not saying don't get close to a woman, but what do you think should be the boundary line, that line? Don't just draw that line and leave it there. What do you think are those things women need to put into consideration to avoid issues like fighting in the office, revealing your deepest and darkest secrets of one another? What do you think women should do to protect their professional relationships?
Okay, so first of all, apart from in a work environment, right? Generally, even if it's were to be a church, when you mix with people, it's okay to mix with people, have friends, meet people and all of that. I don't think there's any rule that actually states that you're supposed to trust anybody 100% with everything about your life, right? Yeah. Before somebody can earn that level of trust, there must be a particular level that you can place that person. So you just met at work who the person is, apart from who they tell you are. Number two, you don't know who they actually represent, because in the workspace, there's what we call office politics. You think this person is on your side, but it's really on the other person's side, and not really on your side, but getting submission for you for another person. Sometimes somebody can actually be planting pie to you. You know, different things can be happening, so you can't really trust anybody to be the kind of person that you can trust everything about your life, whether in office or outside the office. So first of all, I'd like to advise women that work, you are to work, not to make friends. Let that be clear. Because if it's a particular place where you go to just make friends, it's different. This is workspace. So yes, you're supposed to, you're supposed to watch out for yourself, you look out for yourself and help yourself work as a team and all of that. But you're not there to make friends. However, you're not there to make enemies. But you're not there to make besties. You get? So whatever you're sharing is what should be useful for that person, regards your place of work, or as regards their own interest, or as regards something that can help them to be prepared, or anything positive that can just say that is related to work. Anything outside work, like your family, I don't advise women share. Because when it comes to men, even if men discuss such to an extent, men take control what they feel. But when it comes to women, that. So that's how you feel the level of closeness with someone. You expect that person is okay. What if this person should tell somebody? Will I be affected? If I won't be affected. But in case this person should tell somebody, I won't really be okay with that. Then you shut that side of you. That's basically how advice you apply.
Okay. I want to ask Fidelia, what is the relationship between professionalism and communication? Because you'll be amazed that despite how we're trying to fix in communication into being professional and still making it look like their relationship, even though it's professional, I believe some people still don't get it. So what is that link between being professional and still having communication while they balance? What's the link between the two of them?
The link here should be mutual trust. Yes, because when you talk about communication, there's no way you can have a professional relationship without communication. So a professional relationship has to do with communication, but the level of communication differs. Like for instance, in the school setting, when we talk about effective communication has to be clear. Like I said earlier, it has to be clear, it has to be concise, and it has to be regular. Like for instance, in our school, we meet like weekly. We talk about, we give feedbacks. We also, through email, we use the social media platform also to get information, because there's no professional organization without communication. You need the communication, like in the school setting, you need from the staff, you need from the student, and even from the parents who are your customers. So both work hand in hand.
Both work hand in hand. So that means there's no way you can be professional without having communication. Okay, so in an office setting, okay, let me use your school for example. Has there been any kind of clash between maybe your staff, for example? Yes, I know it's not something might want to be private, but just for people to learn. And how did you handle the situation whereby you got your staff back on track without any malice? Because I know men, we know how to keep quiet for long, even though we are still eager to talk to the person or make friendship back, our friendship work back. We'll just still not say, beg, let me mind my business. But on your own side, being that you are owner of a school and you've dealt with a different type of personalities, what are the experiences? Just share one with us where there was a situation and how you handled it and got them back on track.
All right, I think I once experienced something similar happened sometimes ago. And how did I handle this? I make sure I wasn't taking sides. I listened to both parties. I didn't take sides. So, because when you happen to be the type that is judgmental, you don't come into conclusion easily. You try to weigh both angles and make them know that this is an organization where we both need ourselves. One person cannot do it all alone. We need ourselves. So we need to work as a team. So how were we able to resolve that? I listened to both parties and we were able to come to a resolution. And after then, there was peace everywhere. So everywhere. Nobody sees you as being you're not taking sides. Yes, you don't take sides in situations like that. You make sure you are fair to both parties involved. Yeah.
Okay, which is I know it's even difficult because as you are talking in my mind, I'm like, you know, you always have this. Okay, I think this. You know, look, let's be real.
Yeah.
There are some persons that you know are with you or your colleagues or staff as the boss or anything. You know each and everybody's character, and you know there are some persons that when they come and meet you and say, Mrs. Lagbaja did this. In your mind, deep seated inside your mind, say, I know she can do it. I know. But you know, it's now difficult for you to now place that professional relationship and communication in your mind that, okay, I cannot say I know she would do this. I still have to hear her own side. Because, of course, they say there's no smoke without fire. You understand? So, yes, I like that one, but it's a bit difficult. That's why you're the boss anyway. That's why you own the school and you're running it well. Okay, so I'm going to ask Shehu, so you can share an experience with us. What happened and how did you go about it? It might be you, it might be someone that you know, but please do share.
Okay, I can't. Okay, I think I can place my finger. I think there was so many years ago when I was working with an accountant in Abuja. I personally, if I'm going to have any misunderstanding with anybody, I'd like to do it without talking much, really, right? But you know, there are some people that like to express themselves. Some like to create some kind of drama. So I was the financial accountant then. So because we are handling money, you know, there's going to be one issue or the other about money issues, you know. So I had an assistant who was a treasury accountant. So I know she was stealing money, really. I know that's not a problem, but you know, there's a rule about the office space. You see no, you hear evil, right? But as long as you don't cross my path, I'm good. Now, I was supposed to prepare the accounts for our boss. The CEO was around at that time. And so I actually just sent a memo that you have to balance ethical and then forward it since I'm the senior to her and all. But then she you know, in the office space there's what we call like some kind of apples. There will be the big thing, there will be the small thing. Now I know I belong to the big range. I didn't show it because I'm closer to the CEO and I got the job through the CEO. She got the job through the GM. Right? So she feels that because she has been terrorizing everybody in the workspace before I came, because she's close to the GM, that she can do whatever she likes. So she went to meet the GM, and then the GM cancelled. So I got angry, but I usually have a clever way of fighting. So instead of me to argue or make any noise, I just wrote a memo to her and requested that she give account of everything that was supposed to be cash in hand with her. And that was where the trouble was. Everyone was just upside down. The CEO heard about it, then started begging me, apologizing, and all of that. I said, this is very simple. It's just a simple communication. Let's just communicate like adults. But if you don't need the drama, but you won't might come with it. But then later we became friends after. Yeah. Know where they are wrong and advise that they handle it maturely. That's all.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. I like that. Yes, I like that one. Yeah, we know in an office space there's always going to be issue, but how you handle it is what really matters. Now, I have this question that's always come to mind when it comes to a woman-to-woman communication and all of that. Now, yes, we've talked about the parts whereby, you know, you have secrets and all of that and you're revealing it to a woman. But is it now right, now, in an office setting, you start developing feelings for a particular person in an office? And we know usually for professional settings, you are not supposed to date yourself, basically, because they feel it will disrupt their works and all of that. But how do you think a woman can protect herself rather, that she doesn't start developing an unprofessional feeling? And you know, when she starts developing unprofessional feeling towards another man, definitely any other woman that is trying to get close to that man becomes a potential enemy, and that alone starts causing issues at work. So at this point, I just wanted to know, what advice will you give to ladies? So in case, if they, I'm not saying don't have feelings, yeah? You can't control yourself. Yes, it's very possible. But how do you think a woman having that kind of situation, how do you think she should go about this, Shehu?
I would say for me, right? I have a rule. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So I personally have a rule about relationship the opposite sex, whether at work or outside work, right? Frequently, that you discuss with frequently, natural use, person, even if the person is the obvious person. So if you know you don't want to, if you don't want to build such kind of relationship, there's a level of distance I advise that ladies keep with the opposite sex, or even outside work, as the case may be, right? So especially when you know that this person even have all these things that you like in a man, it's advisable that you give it that. You don't even use for any reason. Just make it official, professional. If there's a reason to send a mail, send a mail, send a memo, or whatever it is you're supposed to do. After a while, you develop. But in case of those people that you already found yourself, you already advise the way you can connect yourself is an hanging out, time that you spend together. Time that's been glad to talk, game of trying to get you really. Sometimes you're not even the one going after. They just have this their sleep play. They discover what your weakness is. They try to minister to you. Somebody else can't minister to you, and then they get your attention. So first, your weakness that was spot. However, for some reason you made that mistake and it's obvious. Even if that person is trying to play on, create that distance, not hanging out later, try to house whatever. Let's just quickly. So that can be well until it fades. And then if you have any other person hanging out, please know that if you're single, in the case of the singles, if that person has not placed a ring on you, who you want the person. So anybody is free to have anything. Bottom line, whoever the person wants, the person comes. Now, however, if you find it difficult to fix that feelings that you have for the other person, it's not one of you. That's the way forward. The time will be very obvious that but you won't be able to keep it secret anymore. So instead of the two of you not making yourself and losing your job, somebody just has to step down. It's worth it to step down. Well, it can be advisable for you to keep that gap until it fades out. I think that's
okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. I still have one last question to ask the both of you before we go for our little, insert content that we have for today. So let's quickly go on a short break. And after the short break, we'll be right back to continue the program. Don't go nowhere. We're still here. All right, welcome back. Yes, this is still Women's Corner running through 11 a.m. to 12 noon. I don't know, we have our third guest, but it seems to be having network issues and some noise coming from my end. But of course, the third guest, which I said was supposed to be Ajay Bowale Khadija Lawrence. But I would like to go on with my program by asking this one last question. What are the personal value every woman should have? This is for you, Fidelia. What are the personal values you have to have as a woman? I'm going to come from the side of, we have a lot of youth copper coming out now, youth cop. So they are all out now, about to enter an organization, to work somewhere and all of that. And I'm sure it's something they need to learn to. What is that value as a woman, personal value, that you have to have for yourself before you venture into a workplace, so that you can avoid most of the dramatic examples I've cited right here in this program? I'll ask you, Fidelia, what are the values that woman, a lady, needs to have now before she even, ventures into the working environment?
To me, I think as someone that intends to venture into the working environment, number one, you need to prioritize trust, credibility, being open to communication. You shouldn't be the type that think he or she is an island of all. Be open to learning, meet people, be supportive, and lastly, be empathetic. I think with this, you'll be able to mingle with different types of people. Yes.
Okay, I like that one, sympathetic. Anyway, so I'm going to ask you, Sheol, because we have other things we need to continue with. What are the personal values? Yes, she has said some, but I want more, because that's not where it ends. what are the personal values a woman should have before going into the working space to protect herself, protect her happiness, and protect her peace of mind with mental health?
So how there's this belief that men are better than the women. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hello, is Shaun there?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
All right. So I said, in addition to this, there's this belief that some men have that, it is smart that the female gender are not so smart. They believe in their charms and all that to get work done or to get promotion and all. So as a lady, or as a man, one of the values I like to keep in mind is the one of hard work, ready for hard work. Don't just go and be playing the card of because I'm able. After all, she's how to get all things. No, because even the opposite sex can respect a woman that knows what she's doing, hardworking. Number two is to be knowledgeable about what you want to do in that organization. So because if you are there and you do tracks from others, you'll be saying as if you don't know
what you're doing.
Right? Mm-hmm. There are another that I have learned the hard way sort of about the office environment that you should also understand. In addition to what we're talking about is understand office politics, right? Yeah. To handle office politics, you will survive the workspace. Right? Mm-hmm. Then, because the thing I also learned while I was working at Google, right, that this issue of keeping secrets that you think is a secret is not really a secret. It's usually a strategy. You understand, to get a hold of people to get certain things done. So you should be wise in how you open your mouth, right? Mm-hmm. Like I said earlier, you say no evil, right? Mm-hmm. You mind your business, what you're doing. You don't do what you're not supposed to do, what you're not called to do, right? Mm-hmm. If you have a boss above you, that's with no problems. If you're able to do that, you'll be fine in the workplace. And also, even if when you get to that place, you're looking forward to learning more. Don't just stay where you were. You're a fresh graduate, you got in there, yes. So you should also work on getting more education. You get up your game. So that if there's anything like promotion coming in, it's something that should consider you for not just the men, or just some set of people. So that's another thing I can add to what she said.
Okay, thank you very much. I hope coppers are hearing this, because this is for you to understand that you have to have this personal value before coming into workplace. We that were in the workplace were still managing to handle different personalities without being dramatic, and we know women, just a little thing can, splash everywhere, and the people that has nothing to do with it also get affected. And that's why you see some bosses who always prefer to employ the male than the female, because we always have they have to sort issues. She's the one complaining, In fact, let me not go further into what I'm about to say, but we know ourselves, so we know what we do. You just have to try to manage yourself, manage your anger, your temperament. You don't go to an office place with hot temper. If you have hot temper, drop it at home or at the gates of your office before getting into the office. If you have issues with people talking to you, maybe your boss talking to you probably the way you really don't like, and you can't take it and find a way to tell your boss that, oh, I didn't like how you spoke to me the other day, calmly, not responding back at the same time. I think you really need to brush up yourself, groom yourself, grow up yourself, basically, before getting to a workplace and, ruining everything you're supposed to be and what you're supposed to become. Anyways, let's quickly go. I will not let you go, Shaun, yet, because, I said, oh, you can't serenade us, actually, because why? She's on Zoom, and we know how Niger Network is. But anyway, since you can't serenade us, there's no need keeping you any much longer, because when you start singing, we won't be able to enjoy the voice and all of that. It will start getting cracked up. But at this point, I'd like to say thank you very much, Shaun Adekunle, for joining us. If you don't know her, she's a gospel artist, an entrepreneur, a writer, a producer, and an author. She keeps sending me beautiful music on my Instagram, and sometimes I'll be like, oh, imagine she's remembering me. Thank you very much for always remembering when you make beautiful songs and sending to me. Thank you very much. But thank you so much. Can we have her on this? Okay, yes, you're on the screen already. Can you wave us by, or you have something to say?
I had fun. I had fun.
Okay.
And I want to also thank you for having me on the show.
Yes, you're very welcome. Bye. Thank you for joining us. Okay.